Hey guys, John here. I'm back. I'm not dead. I'm back. It's been a while. Why am I yelling? I don't know. We're going to talk Batman. Let's talk about it. Welcome back to my channel. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. Give me a thumbs up if you like what you see. Today I'm here with my buddy Jason, and I thought we would try something a little different. We're on our way to Patrick's, but on the way there, we're going to talk Batman. I figured, hey, let's rank movie Batman. Movie Batmans. Batman? Batmans?
Batmans, Batman,
Whatever. You get the idea. So, take all the Hollywood Batmans. You got Michael Keaton from 1989. If you want to go way back, you got Adam West. You got Michael Keaton in 1989, reprised the role in 1992. Then you got Val Kilmer. He came in at, what was that, 1995 or 96?
Something like that.
Something
Batman
like
Returns. Or not Batman Returns, Batman Forever.
Batman Forever. And then Val Kilmer was out of the picture, and George Clooney came along, and he took the role in Batman and Robin. Then you had the Christopher Nolan trilogy with Christian Bale. And then we have the Batman that we have now.
The
Batfleck, Ben Affleck. But there's also Robert Pattinson.
Yeah, that one's coming out.
Yeah, that has yet to be released. I haven't seen it yet, so he's not even part of it. So I'll start. I will say my number one. I kept going back and forth between Michael Keaton and Christian Bale. I think I finally settled on Michael Keaton as my number one favorite Batman. And why is that? I saw a trailer on TikTok for a new movie called The Protege. It's got Michael Keaton in it. And there was a brief clip, and he gave a facial expression that I'm like, oh,
That's Batman.
yes, that is Batman right there. He's still got it. He's still got that Batman facial expressions. And it took me back to the 1989 Batman and the 1992 Batman Returns. I love those two Batman movies. That's why I'm ranking Michael Keaton as my number one.
You ever dance with the devil in the pale moonlight? What?
Excuse me. Have you ever danced with the devil in the pale moonlight?
Jason, what would you rank as your number one?
So I'm going to take a little bit different approach. My number one is going to be Christian Bale.
I could see it.
And the reason for that is, I mean, like, it's like real close. Michael Keaton, Christian Bale. But the reason for that is I recently went back and watched Batman and Batman Returns. And it's, to me, watching them now as an adult, it's still really good, but I just think that it kind of has some cartoon moments in it, especially Batman Returns.
Yeah, it does.
But it's still it's very close. But I think just like Christian Bale, like before that, the things I had seen him in were like Newsies, and I'd seen him like American Psycho, and then he's cast as Batman, and it's like I think if you could once you could get over the voice, though, I'm Batman.
Where were the other drugs going?
I never knew. I don't know. I swear to God.
Swear to me!
The movies were phenomenal. So that's my number one.
All right. Yes, I love the Christopher Nolan Batman trilogy. Absolutely love it. I think those movies, compared to any other Batman movie, those are my favorite, hands down. Even better than the Tim Burton Batman. That's why my number two is Christian Bale, for basically the same reason. I think he did a phenomenal job playing Batman. He did a phenomenal job playing Bruce Wayne, and he added some realism to it. Between him and Christopher Nolan, they made Batman a more realistic movie. They gave it a more realistic tone, and I really like that. I think it played well in the trilogy.
Made him a believable Batman.
Yes, that's my number 2.
And explain, like, where did he get all those wonderful tools?
Yeah, from Lucius Fox.
Lucius Fox.
I think I have just the thing.
Well, my number 2, no surprise, is Michael Keaton. Just like John said, when I remember going to the movie theater and seeing that, Batman, as a kid, and I was like, 9 years old. It came out in '89.
Yeah.
And I just remember, just going, this is not your, Adam West Batman. This is like a cool kick butt Batman.
Yeah.
It's like, it's like he's dark. He
is the Dark Knight.
Yes, he is the Dark Knight. So, yes, for those reasons, Michael Keaton, number 2 on my list.
Oh man, I just like Michael Keaton. I'll never forget the scene in Spider-Man. What was it? Spider-Man Homecoming.
Yeah.
Yeah. The scene where he's driving them to, what was it? Driving them to prom.
It's like prom or a dance. Or
Yeah, something. They're in the back seat. He's driving. They're stopped at a traffic light, and he realizes
who Spider-Man
is.
I bet you were glad when your old pal Spider-Man showed up in the elevator, though. Good old Spider-Man.
His facial expressions in that scene, man, Michael Keaton, he has a phenomenal way of expressing himself with his face, and he plays an awesome bad guy. He can play an awesome good guy and an awesome bad guy. He can do comedy. He can do action. He probably even do a horror movie. Has he ever done a horror movie?
We'll have to look that up.
Okay, so we've got number 1, we got number 2. So our number 3, let's see, we have Val Kilmer, Ben Affleck, and George Clooney. Next. How would you rank those?
So if I was ranking them, number 3 would be Batfleck, Ben Affleck, then Val Kilmer, then George Clooney.
Okay. In that order. Okay. I would actually, you know what? I think I would do the exact same thing. Ben Affleck is number 3 because I feel like Ben Affleck, he did a great job of like bringing out the angry side of Batman. Because you got to think, as a kid, if you witnessed your parents being murdered
right in front of you,
you would have some deeply rooted psychological issues, and he brought that on screen, and I liked seeing that. It was kind of a little bit of a different take on Batman.
From the first time that he came on screen as Bruce Wayne in Batman vs Superman, and he's driving through Metropolis in a little security jeep, and like he gets out and runs to people and trying to help them, and then he turns and looks at Superman and Zod fighting. I mean, he's just got that look of you can tell he is ticked off, and he does not he does not like aliens.
No, hates aliens. Hates them. He really brought the anger in that one. He was angry from his childhood. He was angry at Superman personally
for destroying his city.
Yeah, and Ben Affleck brought that anger big time. So that's our number 3. Number 4, Val Kilmer. I remember seeing Batman Forever as a kid, and I loved it.
Jim Carrey,
mainly
Tommy Lee
because
Jones.
mainly because of the colors and the cartooniness, and Jim Carrey being his loony Jim Carrey self. As far as Val Kilmer as Batman, I don't think he really had much to offer the role. He didn't really bring a lot to Batman. Every part of the movie was every part of the movie focused mainly on the villains, and we see that with Tommy Lee Jones and Jim Carrey, and
I thought Jim Carrey stole that movie.
Jim Carrey did steal that movie. And hey, I'm sorry about the lighting in here. I know there's a lot of backlight.
It's
If
like
we
almost
were in
7 o'clock. So.
Yeah, if we were in a studio or a living room or something, we could control it. We can't control the light. I'm sorry about that, guys. Val Kilmer, I felt like he was just there. He was just there because Batman had to be there. So you needed somebody to fill the suit. And my thoughts on that were confirmed by a new documentary called Val. It's focused on Val Kilmer and his health conditions. Val Kilmer's been diagnosed with throat cancer. His health is failing tremendously, but he has had this documentary made, and in it he talks a little bit about him playing Batman, and he basically confirmed my thoughts in it that he felt like there was no reason for him to really be in the movie. He was super excited to play Batman when he got cast in the role, when he signed on to do the movie, super excited, and then he had his dreams crushed. He talks about how difficult it was to do anything in the Batsuit. He couldn't sit down, he couldn't do anything, he couldn't hear anything. He had to have people help him sit down or even walk around. All he could do was basically stand there and recite his lines during the movie because he couldn't hear anything and he really couldn't move. And that does not bode well for the Dark Knight, because the Dark Knight has to be able to kick, punch, swing, and take out the bad guys.
Well, even like Christian Bale, kind of addresses that in, Batman. Is it Batman Begins or is it Dark Knight? When he was, it's like it'd be nice to be able to, turn my head.
Yeah. And I remember Michael Keaton making that same comment during the making of Batman Returns. He was talking about how he couldn't turn his head. If he had to turn around, he had to turn his whole body.
Hey, what's going on over there, guys?
All right, so our Val Kilmer is our number 5? Number 4? Okay. So that leaves poor George Clooney as the weakest Batman. And yeah, even George Clooney himself regrets taking the role of Batman, from what I've read from interviews. He says he played the character all wrong. He said the script was all wrong. The movie was terrible. The movie was nothing but a glorified toy commercial. And I'm talking about Batman and Robin.
Yeah.
Which, when you watch the movie,
Which you did recently.
yes, I did recently. We filmed it because I was going to do a reaction, and the whole thing went south. My phone kept crapping out on me.
But you soldiered on and watched it.
Yeah, I watched it, and that's an hour and 45 minutes of my life I'll never get back. So thanks, Jason.
You're welcome.
I tried to make it fun, but then not even my phone wanted to be a part of the movie.
This phone is like, oh, I'm out.
Yeah, like every 10 minutes, it's crapping out. But that was a terrible Batman movie. I had never seen it before until recently, knowing that it was terrible from what I heard when it came out. And George Clooney's part of the problem. He played Batman all wrong.
My thought on that is, so with Batman, it's much like Superman. I rank them how I think the actor was able to actually play both characters, because essentially that's what they're doing. They're playing two different characters that are the same person.
Yeah.
And I think Christian Bale nailed the Bruce Wayne bit, and he nailed the Batman bit.
Yeah. He did.
That scene where, like, in Batman Begins, where he's back and he's in the restaurant, and he's trying to play the part of the flamboyant playboy, and like getting in the tank and just saying, we'll buy the restaurant or the hotel or whatever it was. Like that was done perfectly. And then Ben Affleck, I thought he did a good job as, which that's number 3, but I thought he did a good job as Batman and Bruce Wayne.
Yeah, he played a good older Bruce Wayne, a little older, a little wiser. I thought he did a good job.
Michael Keaton did a great job as Bruce Wayne.
Yes.
And Batman. That scene where they're in Vicky Val's apartment, and the Joker shows up, and he's got that tray hidden in his shirt or his jacket, and he does that the whole
you want to get crazy?
Yeah, you want to get crazy?
He smashes things. You want to get crazy? Let's get crazy.
Yeah, and then it's just like, okay, it's like you can kind of see the crazy, like what would make him come out like a little bit.
I feel like in that scene, going back to that, I feel like the Batman was coming out of Bruce Wayne.
I know who you are.
Bruce realized, I better pull this back.
Pull it back a little bit.
Yeah, I think he would have fought the Joker right there if he wouldn't have got a hold of it.
Val Kilmer, I thought he did a better Batman than he did Bruce Wayne. I just like his Bruce Wayne, I thought was very dry.
I felt like Val Kilmer's performance was very dry. Through the whole movie, playing Bruce Wayne and Batman, I feel like the movie was more of a love story than Batman was portrayed as. It was portrayed between him and who was the doctor? It was Nicole Kidman.
Yes, I was like, who was his lover? Is it Nicole Kidman?
Yeah,
and then also,
I can't remember her character's name though.
I'm Chase Meridian.
Then also you got introduced to Dick Grayson in that one.
Yeah.
And then I thought George Clooney played a much better Bruce Wayne than he did Batman.
Yeah, I feel like George Clooney was a better Bruce Wayne, but there were still, he had a lot of issues with that. I feel like that was just poor casting, and I feel like that was a bad decision on Joel Schumacher as well.
Yes,
because I remember watching an interview with Joel Schumacher on why he cast George Clooney. And basically, he just found a movie poster with George Clooney's face, drew the Batman cowl on his face, and is like, that's our Batman. And I'm like, what?
I'm guessing it was the Dusk Till Dawn poster.
Who knows? But I feel like that's no way to cast Batman. Well, there you go, guys. There's our ranking our movie Batman. And we have yet to see Robert Pattinson. I don't know. I have mixed feelings about the Batman with Robert Pattinson.
Have you seen Tenet?
Yes.
So I had mixed feelings about Robert Pattinson playing Batman until I watched Tenet.
I don't have mixed feelings based on him playing the character. My reservations are the movie itself. Warner Brothers has ran DC comic movies through the mud. I mean, you've got all these great opportunities, and Warner Brothers is just dropping the ball time after time. When it comes to DC comic book movies, I've disliked more than I've liked. Really, the only thing I have really liked is Man of Steel.
And then that whole controversy of, about the ending of that movie.
About him breaking the neck, killing. Well, I mean, what can you do?
Yeah, it's-
Oh, superheroes don't kill. Superheroes. Batman never killed nobody.
Batman never killed anybody. Or
Sure.
did he? Maybe we need to do a video about that.
Maybe we just did.